Hey guys, Urban Combat Survivor here. Um, this video is, well, it's going to be a couple of things, but basically what it comes down to is that being prepared sometimes requires a reality check. And, I came across a video quite some time ago, before I even actually made the Urban Combat Survivor account. I was on another account that I never made videos on. I actually made this account specifically for this channel. At that time, I came across a video, and then I lost track of it. And then I met the guy who made the video, and we've talked a few times. And this is a video that I think everyone, no matter what level of preparation you're at, no matter what planning style you have, if you are preparing in any way for a problem, I think this video is a must-see for all of you. For all of us. That includes myself. The video is by Ironhead41, and the name of the video is Bug Out Reality Food Amounts. I'm going to put a link to it down there in the comments. I want to talk about this video because he explains concisely and with solid research, you can go check his numbers and he's correct, that in a collapse situation, the average 1 mile of forest will probably be wiped clean of food in 16 days. All normal foods. That's before you get down to, mice and worms and grubs and that kind of thing. Which in 18 days is where people are going to be going. So there's that, and I hope that you will all take the time to go watch that video. It's only a few minutes long, and he explains things very clearly in there in a way that I hope, if you have a plan to run out to the woods, I hope that he can change your mind if I haven't already done so or someone else hasn't done so already. In a breakdown situation, you need to go watch that video. In a breakdown situation, the point of this video is going to be this: vigilance. Constant vigilance. Now, I've mentioned a few times that the human system is not made to live in a constant state of crisis. But we are going to have to live, those of us that have done any level of preparation, are going to have to live if there's a breakdown in a constant state of vigilance. I read a story, it actually wasn't a story, it was a transcript, by a British officer in an African base. The British military was not involved in the conflict that was going on in that area, but the people in that area wound up, that it got to where many people were starving. And there was such a massive wave of refugees that the British soldiers, I think this was sometime in the 40s, that the British soldiers were given the orders that if they had to protect themselves, they had to do what they had to do. And what happened was refugees, mothers holding their children, people starving to the point that they no longer had rational thinking, started approaching machine gun nests because they knew these people had food. And the British soldiers at that point were left with the options of being overrun by hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of people, or defending their positions. And basically they had no choice but to open fire. And they mowed down wave after wave of refugees. They didn't stop. The people didn't stop. They weren't armed. They weren't organized. What they were was starving. The point of vigilance is this: if and when things break down, there's going to be some initial waves of chaos. Those initial waves of chaos, I believe, are going to be the easiest part to deal with. Standing in visible positions with firearms will have a huge deterrent effect, I believe, on most situations. Not all. And you definitely don't want to keep standing out there in the open, but that's a different story. A few shots fired early on, I think, will have a great deterrent effect. When people get to the point of starving, when they get to the point of hungry, that it has transitioned into starving, they lose rational thought. They basically become zombies. And If they think there's food somewhere, they're going to go for that food. It doesn't matter if logic dictates that they won't make it. It doesn't matter that logic dictates that they're unarmed and you are armed. And this is for the unarmed ones I'm talking about here. What matters is that they are starving, and the drive to eat is going to be so much greater than common sense that they're going to put themselves in positions of risk that are going to force the hands of those who are defending what they've worked for. What I want to talk about is stealth. Now, I don't mean sneaking around in alleys and that kind of thing. What I mean is doing your best to cover your situation so that it's not discernible or not easily discernible to those on the outside. Now, this is going to be extremely limited because in a breakdown situation, there aren't going to be cars driving down the street, at least not after the first week, 2, 3, whatever weeks it is. There's not going to be the smells of cooking. There's not going to be power. If you have power, just turning on a light is going to make you visible for miles around. Just having that light turned on at night is going to make you visible. People are going to see that. If you grow food, they're going to see it. If you raise food, they're going to see it. Unless you've made provisions for doing those things in a way that you can hide them as best you can. You're not going to be able to hide everything, but you can make a concerted effort to be as little visibility as possible in all of your preparations. When you cook, they're going to smell it. When there's no longer every household eating every night, the smell of food cooking is going to carry for a great distance. People are going to smell that, and when they're hungry, they're going to follow the smell. They're going to find it. And you need to be prepared at that point to either give them food or defend yourself and yours. Every time you make a fire, they're not only going to see it, but they're going to smell it. The smoke is going to be visible. In the wintertime, when people are freezing, when they're holding their kid and their kid's fingers are blue, they're going to be moving towards a source of heat. Now, initially, people are going to burn. People are going to burn stuff. Yeah, that's going to be the initial reaction when there's no heat. If it's wintertime, they're going to burn whatever they can. And then they're going to find whatever they can beyond that to add to what they can burn. Resources for burnable material are gonna disappear pretty quickly. There's going to be house fires all over the place because people don't know how to safely have fires in their home, i.e. wood stoves. So after those initial waves of chaos, seeing smoke, smelling food is going to make you a target. You don't only have to worry about the armed groups out there coming to take your food. You have to worry about those that are starving to the point that they're not thinking anymore, that they're not able to think anymore, that have been drinking foul water that hasn't been cleaned and purified and are so riddled with whatever disease or dysentery there is that they're just delirious. You need to be prepared mentally and materially to respond to those threats. When do you go out? Now I want to mention another guy. His name is Staying Awake 20. He did a video called Dirty Yourself Down to Survive. And he made some great points in that, and I want to reiterate a bit of them. Go watch the video again. I'll put a link to it. But I want to strengthen or augment some of the things he said in there. If you shower, if you go out clean, and everyone else hasn't had a shower in 3 months, they're going to see it and they're going to smell it. They're going to smell the soap. They're going to see that you're clean. They're going to see that you're shaven. They're going to see that your hair doesn't look like it's been dragged through the mud. They're going to see these things. It's going to be very visible. It's going to be very noticeable if they're within smell distance of you or downwind of you. Your clean clothes are going to be a beacon to these people. In all of your preparation, in my belief, one of the most important things you can do is run through mental scenarios. Run through the things, think about the things that you think are going to come down the road. so that when that situation comes, or some variant of that situation comes, you've already been through the mental process of dealing with that. At which point, it's now simply the physical reaction part that has to happen. Discuss these things with people that you're working with. For instance, you may need to keep some really dirty clothes. At some point, you may need to keep an outfit or two or three for however many people you're working with that are kind of stinky, that don't look like they're in good repair, that don't have all of the tears and rips freshly sewn and haven't been laundered. Because you're gonna have to foray out at some point. You're not gonna be able to live in whatever building you're in like it's a bunker forever. You're not gonna be able to do that. So at some point, you're going to have to venture out into the world, and how you present when you venture out into the world is going to it's going to have a big bearing on the encounters that you have. It's going to sway whether or not you even have encounters. You know, Lock and Load did a video where he talked about demeanor and presenting yourself in an authoritative way, where you look like you're organized, you're armed, and they're not wise to mess with you. And I think that's great in that instance where weaponry can be a deterrent. But when people are starving, they don't care how many guns you have. They're not even able to process the reality that you have guns. What they can process is the smell that you're clean. The fact that you don't look like you're starving to death. Your skin isn't jaundiced. Your stomach isn't distended. You're moving firmly. You're able to walk with a normal gait, where they have to shamble because they're so weak. These are things that are going to mark you. I think we all need to think and prepare for the ability to have constant guard, constant vigilance. You're going to need to protect things, and as it progresses, it's going to get a lot worse than those initial waves of chaos, those initial riots. It's going to get a lot worse if it ever happens, long before it gets better. The weather is going to play a huge part in that. If there's a breakdown and it happens in the wintertime, and then all the utilities are shut down, how many people are going to freeze to death? How many people are going to burn to death because they're trying to start fires in homes that aren't provisioned to do that? How many people are going to die of the diseases and medical emergencies or conditions that they simply can't address anymore? So now you have to deal with those who have seen others around them dying. And that just adds to the zombie mindset. It's just going to add to the desperation. Like when you try to save a drowning man, if you put yourself in a position where someone who's drowning can cling to you, they're going to drag you under in their attempt to get air. It's not malicious, it's not intentional, but it's reality, it's survival. So I just thought I'd do this video mentioning those other two. I will put them both in the descriptions. I think you need to definitely watch. If you only want to watch one of them, please go watch Ironhead 41's video. Bug out reality food amounts. That is a must see. I also think that Staying Awake 20's video is some solid thinking and something you guys should go check out. So if you have any questions, comments, video responses, you know what to do with them. I hope that I'm getting through to someone with this kind of stuff. You know, I know there are some like-minded people that agree with my thinking on this. I hope that those who don't agree, I hope that planting the seeds that I'm trying to plant here for those people will slowly awaken them to reality, because at the end, if they aren't, I don't feel good about their prospects. And I hope that it's not too late to change their mind. You know, they're not too set on their course. So if they are, good luck in what you're doing. If not, start making adjustments and start being ready, people, because I don't know if something's going to happen, and if it does, I don't know when. But I tell you, that sense of desperation, that sense of urgency is it's growing and it's spreading and it's getting more intense for a lot of people. So there it is. Urban Combat Survivor. Signing off.